humanity were formally recognized and rewarded with Nigeria's national honors. President Muhammadu Buhari, who conferred the honors on the awardees with the titles of the national honors, enjoined Nigerians to remain patriotic and continue to work towards nation building. Here in the studios now to tell us some more about sometimes issues and controversies around the National Honors Award, we have two guests who are in the studios. Do you mind?
Yes, we have two guests in the studios, and Standing Committee on National Honors Award, he's the chairman, Emir of Lafia, Justice C.D. Bage, retired. You're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you join us.
Thank you.
And we also have in the studio the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the President, a regular here, Mr. Femi Additional. You're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Good morning.
We'll begin. Femi Additional, OON.
Congratulations, OON.
Femi Additional, he got the OON award.
Yes,
Congratulations to him.
Congratulations.
And of course, we are delighted that His Royal Highness, the Emir of Lafia, Lord Justice C.D. Bage, is right here with us in the studio. He's a retired Justice of the Supreme Court. My Lord, once again, I welcome you specially to,
Thank you very much.
To this interaction.
Thank you.
It turns out, I remember I did a piece on this in my column. It was it must have been 98 or 99. The Abu Salami military regime was leaving to transit to the Fourth Republic, and then we had a list of national honors and generated a great deal of controversy. I never forgot that. I did an article in The Guardian, and I got a phone call. I need to mention this, my lord. I got a phone call from a Nigerian, a prominent Nigerian, who said, yes, I've read your piece, and that, well, this is what happens. Those who should get the honors don't get it. Those who are left out are perpetually left out. So he said that he would like, I will mention his name at the end of what I'm saying, I needed to create some drama, that he would like to be conferred with the honor of GCLO.
What does that mean?
I said, sir, what does GCLO mean? He says, Grand Commander of the Left Out.
Yeah.
I'm here talking about the late Brigadier Adekunle. Black Scorpion. Everybody knows Black Scorpion. He took part in the Nigerian Civil War. Black Scorpion is late now. But so let's begin, Chairman, sir. Standing Committee on the National Honors Awards. I know that we're going to have to wrap this up very quickly, but Nigerians always would ask what criteria were used in choosing 440 amongst them for the honors.
Well, thank you very much. Altogether, we had about 5,000 applicants for the national honors. And actually, it is not that those 5,000 came from the sky. There were several contacts made by government as to those that will be eligible for consideration to be conferred with national honor. At the federal level, right from the executive arm of government, there was contact. Then you get to the legislature, there was contact. They were communicated of the intention of government to confer national honor at this time. Of course, even at my own constituency, the judiciary, there was contact. Then outside of that, the state governors representing their respective states were contacted by government to make entries, to make suggestions as to those that will be eligible. Then coming down, after leaving the public sector, the private sector was also contacted to send in their nominations so that the best can come out of that. And then the last of it was, there was also an advertisement to the effect that personal contact can also be made. So the issue of being left out would not have been there, because people were asked that if you are not coming in through any of this window created by government, You can, as an individual, in fact, you can even sponsor yourself, not even to be sponsored by some person or some group of persons. So you can even write to say, and then attach your resume and those contributions that you have made to national development and those things that could make you to be considered by the government of Nigeria to be honored largely on the kind of contribution that you have been able to provide, which gave an aid to national development. So these are the things that were placed for consideration. So the issue of being left out would not have been there. Those 5,000 applicants that we got came through all of these contacts that were made over time. And people say it took such a long time before Mr. President did this exercise, because we know how meticulous he is in doing his thing. It took time to get all of this contact in place. And of course, the Nigerian friends that were also honored. There were several contacts made and, a painstaking screening done, especially with those of Nigerian friends that were coming in to be honored by the government of Nigeria. So, these are some of those things that were done to lay foundation for the entries. After the entries, then you begin to talk about how you go back to the regulation and begin the process of those, out of those applications that will be eligible to be conferred with the national honors. So, of course, the processes are there. But the most important, because I spoke to the Radio Nigeria and I'm speaking to you again, I said the most important criteria for you to be conferred with a national honor is that you must do good work to your first name. To your first name. I mentioned to you that my name is CD. So I must do good to my first name, CD. Because if you raise it and say this is CD, then you listen to the judgment of people on that name, CD. You good, you bad, you this, people will react. So if you don't do good to your first name, you have opportunity and you do things that, questions will surround those things that you are doing. From that point, you have disqualified yourself. It's not an honor that is extended to every person in the community. No. It's an honor that this country is saying thank you for all of those good work that you have done to this nation. And that you are supposed to serve as an example to inspire others to do good also and to work hard for the development of this nation. So, these are some of those things that were there for consideration.
Talking about development of this nation, well, the people must talk, actually. And Femi Adesina, I want to come to you. Congratulations on your ON, and I hope we'll be at the party. Well, most Nigerians are saying, coming at this time of, unsettlement, security issues and all that, they felt that it wasn't timely enough and it was more like political.
But that would not be quite right, because the times are better. The times were more turbulent than this. In fact, there is a settling in the polity now, which has been unusual in months and years. So if anybody criticizes underscore, then that person is not reading the barometer of the country very well. The times are far, far better than they have ever been, and they will still get better. The president has used the opportunity of his public speeches, even right at the UN, to say he will bequeath a safer country to the next government. And we see it happening daily. So anybody that still talks about growing insecurity, no, is not reading the the environmental well.
I want to return to His Highness, the Chairman of the Standing Committee on the National Honors Award. One common complaint whenever we have this set of awards conferred, you hear from persons who say, no, the category that they have placed me on is
Lower than
I can't say this about a national honor. I mean, but I say it now with a great deal of apology. They'll say it's infra dig. This is beneath me. Why should I get this lower honor when I should get a higher honor? So what would be the criteria? I mean, there are some persons we know who in the past politely declined to present themselves because they felt that they should have moved higher upstairs.
Well, actually, the work that we did is strictly guided by, there is a regulation set down under the Act, right from the time of the first promulgation of the Act, the 1964 Act on National Honors, and then you had, developments over, and then, of course, the law enjoyed a lot of amendments and so on and so forth, up to the stage at which we are. People must know that the Act itself had categorized those that will benefit from the award. It's not you thinking as an individual that I ought to be here or there. No, it is the Act that says this category of persons you intend to confer national honor on must be on this class. For example, those that will be entitled to the class, apart from that of Mr. President, that he enjoys that is his own. Then you have the highest rank of GCON. Those classes that should benefit from. If you go to the Act, you'll find they are specified. Specified. For example, it says the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Then you talk about the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And then the Chief Justice of Nigeria, maybe representing the heads of the three arms of government. And of course, there is some level of leverage that is given to Mr. President to choose from amongst those that are the best, that can match to that because of the level of their contribution nationally and internationally. And that's why you've seen that Mr. President, in exercise of that, used that discretion to bring in a few, like or the likes of Okonjo-Iweala, who was there, Amina was there, and the ambassador was there. Mr. President is the only one that enjoys that discretion in accordance with the Act. And that is to be done in the best interest of this country. And of course, we all know Mr. President. It is only the best that will come. Because right from the time we started doing this work, it's mentioned to me, he said, look, Emir of Lafayette, I know you, and that's why I have chosen you. But why not the best? Whatever you're going to send to me must be the best. And I think that was what we did. The best was sent those that we could find.
There was a report sometime in the past, and just to also say that we saw two prominent Nigerians who got the second highest national honor in the past, and these were not the if you like, the statutory recipients. I'm here talking of Aliko Dangote,
yes,
and Mike Adenuga of GLOW. They were conferred with the GCON by former President Goodluck Jonathan. But there have been issues around the processes and procedures about the honors. I recall some years ago when the notification came, state governments were required to make nominations this was some years, some 15 years or more ago, state governments were required to make nominations and submit to the committee. But at that time, there were allegations that, yes, the state governments had made submissions, but that the Abuja politicians were all in Abuja now, but you are far away in Lafia, my lord. Whether the Abuja politicians had hijacked the list, and then there was influence peddling. Is the committee still susceptible to those kinds of allegations?
Well, I do not think that, well, I've not heard that from any quarter. But I know, as a matter of fact, the standing committee that Mr. President constituted largely may live above that. And the work that was done by this committee maybe could be the best that you can find, knowing who constituted this committee. And of course, you know, the standard of Mr. President is different from maybe the others that had the opportunity to do this work. What is important about it is that after finishing the preliminary work that we did, we firstly submitted to Mr. President to take a look at. It was subjected to integrity tests. All of them were subjected to integrity tests. And I say that not all of them, that even the work that we did as a committee and submitted could pass through that integrity test. Of course, some of them failed the test, failed. They were complaining up to the last day of the award. They were all around, around here. So these were people that were nominated, selected, and then they were brought forward by those of them, those of the state government, governors, those of this and that, could not pass scale over the integrity test. They were asked to, it went through all the agencies. If you are lucky to pass one agency, you get to the other, you fail. Because unknown to us, you having conversation with some other people, and we didn't even get to know that until some of this report came out. I tell you that I don't want to emphasize on that, but that is the truth of the matter. This exercise was subjected to the best kind of scrutiny by Mr. President, the best kind. And of course, he is quite confident that if you ask maybe some of us to come and do a job for you, what's important to us, like I said at the opening of my remarks, is our name. So we don't allow anyone to interfere with what is going on. There was no interference from anybody. The good thing about it is that Mr. President that I know does not interfere with any work he gives to anyone to do. And of course, what we did, this assignment, there was no interference at all.
There was no interference. Some people have called this a special award. People from all strata of life were awarded, from the lowest to the top. As somebody who got the award, how does it feel?
Well, let me add to what His Lordship and Ernest just said, that about interference and non-interference. There are 5 of us, the aides of the president, who got. So yesterday, we all got together, went to his office to say thank you, Mr. President, on behalf of ourselves and our families. And he said, it's not him that deserves that thank you, it's the committee that deserves it. So it shows that right from even Mr. President, there was no interference. He said we should say thank you to the committee. And when I saw His Lordship here this morning, the first thing I said was thank you. Because you know that we as media people, we ferret out information. I didn't have a foggiest idea of this. Until I was going out of the villa, the Minister for Special Duties was coming in, and he met me and he said, Femi, and I wanted to bring you a letter. I said, what letter? He said, you are taking national honors. It was the shock of my life. And then he said, my hey, the lister is in my car outside. Meet him, he will give you your letter. And truly I went and I got my letter. Didn't have an idea that it was happening. Now you said, how do I feel? Of course, delighted. Delighted. What more? Because I didn't ask for it. I didn't lobby for it. I didn't know how it happened. It just happened.
And so many other people too, they didn't know how it happened.
Yes.
So the surprise is sort of real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it adds to the credibility of the entire process.
One last question before we call it time on this. Nigerians who are not in the cycle also wonder two things. Do we have a register now so that we say since 1963 these are the number of persons that have received the honors? Assuming we have, that's one. That's a fairly straight response. But in terms of the privileges attached to the honors, what's special about the honors? Yes, you get the honor, that's fine. Beyond that, what's special? And secondly, if an awardee then becomes I don't want to use the word enemy of the state. Well, then falls into a standard of behavior not expected of an honoree of the Federal Republic or the other of the Niger. What happens?
Well, firstly, I think we have to talk about the issue of the privileges. The privileges are ones that are already listed in the Act itself. But the most important thing is that if you are a recipient of the national honor, you are entitled to certain degree of respect wherever you find yourself in this country. And that that respect must be extended to you because it is your country that has said, after looking at several other millions of Nigerians, you are picked out to say that you have done well in where you find yourself in the duties that you are rendering to the nation. So, in the country here, you are entitled to certain free entries, federal government function, other privileges that ordinarily people might have to struggle to get into. If you are a recipient of national honor, you are entitled to. If you travel outside of this country, any recipient of this award must be attended to promptly by all our embassies that are across the globe. There you are entitled, if you communicate to any of our embassy in any country of the world that you are coming in, it is the responsibility, because you now serve as an ambassador of the country. Extraordinary. Yeah. They are to receive you. They are supposed to take care of you, to look after you. It is their responsibility to take care of all Nigerians. But because of your position now as a recipient of national honor, you are entitled to some of these privileges. And there are several others that the Act has provided. Maybe for the time we cannot say.
Yes, exactly. We're running out of time.
And if you misbehave.
But if you misbehave, like you said, and that is the area of interest, Mr. President, under the Act, has the right to withdraw the honor. Yes, honor. Yes, conferred on you.
On that note,
and it doesn't have to be, when you say Mr. President, that's the office of the President.
The office of the Mr. President. Of course, Mr. President is headed by his special aid. We are with one today.
No, I'm saying that it doesn't have to. If President Buhari leaves office May 23rd next year,
we're running out of time.
And you misbehave in 2024, the incumbent then can withdraw the honor.
Exactly.
Oh yes.
Yes, okay.
All right, Jumai. Very quickly.
Highness Emir of Lafia Justice C.D. Bagye retired. He is the chairman, Standing Committee on National Honors Award. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you very much for the privilege.
And our friend here, Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the President, Mr. Femi Adesina, OON. I got to get me and I want to. Well, that's how it's been on Good Morning Nigeria for today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Jumai. Yes.
And I'm Kingsley Osadola, thanking you for being with us. Join us again tomorrow, 7 o'clock in the morning for a fresh package of the book. Enjoy the rest of your day.